welcome to the Girls Just Want to Have Fun's podcast. We're recording here at SEAA in Miami Beach. I'm Gretchen Bender from MAP Advisors. I'm here with my co-host,
Naomi Mastera with NMI.
and I'm super happy to introduce our next guest, Craciun from Fee Navigator.
Thank you.
And what I'd like to start by saying is I'm very excited about our guest because NMI just acquired Fee Navigator. So now you're part of the NMI family. And for us, I think this is a really game changer to provide your services to our partners. And I know it's something that they have always requested from us. And I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about Fee Navigator. What is it that you were trying to solve when you created the company? Give us a little background on you and everything that you've done at the business.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Um, this is the first show I have a family because for the past 7 years, I've been attending these shows and I've been on the floor by myself. Now I have a family, and recently, a couple of days ago, I had a meal with my my new NMI family. My story in payment started in 2005. I'm originally from Romania. I used to be a financial forensic investigator, and I came to the US. Uh, I did a couple of businesses, and each of those businesses required payment processing. So I remember getting my first merchant statement from Concord DFS, the first data. I was confused. I couldn't understand any of those fees. So a year later, when we were opening a coffee shop, we again had to set up a merchant account. And at that time, First Data rep introduced me to First Data, and I got a job with First Data as a merchant sales rep. Despite my broken English and my lack of connections and communication, I managed to become one of the top reps by the second year in payments. So I spent 10 years at First Data helping merchants and helping other reps get started in payments. And honestly, to teach people communication skills, because communication is not all about language. Communication is about human to human interactions, being genuine, being authentic, and being able to present a message or to present the numbers from a merchant statement in an easy to understand way, which I performed it well since my day one. Later, after I left First Data, I tried to open an ISO, and at that time I was recruiting and training people, and it was very hard, and I failed of doing it. And that's when the idea of Fee Navigator came, because I was trying to find a way to teach people this wonderful profession, payment processing, without having to spend 5 or 10 years to learn the trade. And I thought that was in 2018 that AI can solve this problem. So I started that journey in 2017 by myself. A year later, my company rebranded as Fee Navigator. I had a CEO, a CTO, I had a group of investors who invested money, and here we are 7 years later, from 2019 to 2026, working and grinding and not giving up until this solution could solve this complex problem that everybody in the payments industry has, which is analyzing merchant statements, understanding the pricing, separating interchange carbon business assessments, and separating the processor-specific fees, which are the profit for the processors. So currently, we are part of NMI. I'm very excited to join NMI family, and I'm excited for what my baby Fee Navigator was going to grow up in the next couple of years under the NMI family.
You know, I've been in the both of us have been in the payment industry for 25, 30 years. And the challenge has always been teaching new employees, new people, how to read statements, because every statement is different and there's so many hidden fees. And I always think even the people that are selling merchant services, half of them don't know how to read statements. And our poor merchants, the actual customer, imagine them being able to read merchants. And I think that's kind of what has gotten a lot of merchants frustrated with our industry. They feel they've been cheated. You know, they feel someone promises a rate and then they get these statements and there's all these hidden fees. And it's just so frustrating for a merchant, and it gives our industry a bad name. being able to do a cost analysis and show them apples to apples and really show them what they can save is just amazing to me. And how is it that you can basically take any statement from any company and you're able to create a cost analysis? How long does that take?
Well, it depends on what statement it is. The AI will instantly identify the processor, the pricing type, and then separate the data from any statement in three buckets. Interchange, which is majority of the fees, card-based business assessment that goes to the Visa and MasterCard, and processor specific, which are the fees from the processor. AI does a pretty good job. Some statements may take 8 seconds, some of them may take up to 2 or 3 minutes, but it does most of the work for you, allowing professionals to review it and complete the work because a human is still needed to validate what AI did and then present to a merchant the data in a easy to understand structure and easy to understand by the rep, by the partner, who also could know upfront how much profit is in that opportunity. So
Exactly.
most of the people, like you said 50%, I believe 80% are selling payment processing blind without even knowing what they're selling because this is very complex. And that's what AI tried to solve.
Well, the fact that they're leaving a lot of money on the table, so a partner and an agent up front can say, oh, I still save the merchant money, but I can make this much money, being able to understand that instead of just kind of selling it and then being disappointed when they get the residuals, where maybe they could have, given the merchant a higher rate and still save the money, still earn the business and make more money. So you're helping not just the merchant, but you're helping the resellers know, it's their money. We
True.
call it girls want to have funds. It's about making money and growing. And I think with NMI, our vision has been to create revenue streams for our partners. And this is just another way that we're going to create more revenue for them by giving them these tools to be able to calculate and do cost analysis. Also be very professional when they go out and meet with their merchants.
Deliver on the promise. When you sell a product or a service, you make a promise, which many times reps who don't understand the payment processing fees, they don't deliver on the promise. Using Fee Navigator, you have a clear understanding of what you are selling, and a month later or 2 months later, you deliver and you prove that what you promised happens, which helps our partners keep those customers longer and never lose them. As you know, in our industry, attrition is a big problem. Many merchants, when they realize that are in something that didn't understand or overpriced, they will leave. If you are able to sell something at a real value, understanding the pricing, and delivering on that promise, you'll keep them forever.
Absolutely. The loyalty's there. The customers trust you. It's about trust.
True.
And attrition, we just talked about attrition on our last thing. Do you have any other questions?
Well, pricing models have changed a lot over the last few years, right? When we started, it was tiered pricing. Qual, mid, and non was pretty much, all there was, and interchange categories fit on one page. It's not like that today. What are you seeing a lot of today when in the statements that you're analyzing?
I remember when I started selling payment processing in 2005, I had a book with pricing models, rate plus transaction, rate plus bill back, and tier. That's the only type of pricing. I didn't have access to interchange.
And that was
plus.
just with one processor. Not
Correct.
all processors have
Correct.
the same model.
Now it changed, but in the end, every single pricing type out there falls in two main groups. Bundled pricing, which includes flat tier, bill back, and any other in the world pricing, and unbundled, which is the clear, transparent pricing, where interchange is separated from the processor discount. The issue that Fee Navigator is solving is mainly on the interchange plus pricing, because there are some statements, some processors, who the interchange pricing is not true interchange. The interchange is being padded, and it's very hard to identify by an unexperienced human or payment professional. And that's when Fee Navigator brings a huge value in identifying those hidden markups that many times are not being realized by the reps who are selling.
Wow, I never, I knew that that happens because I remember when I was a banker looking at statements and then going and looking up the interchange and going, they've been padding this. I did. So how often do you think this is happening where the processor is padding the interchange? To
Well, that's been happening for many years, but I've seen more and more often. I'm not going to name processors,
yeah,
but our AI is capable to take the interchange term description from the statement from that XYZ processor, normalize it against the published interchange published by Visa and MasterCard and Discover, and then compare the costs to make sure that's the true cost, not cost plus plus. After that, in addition to that, our solution is capable to identify levels of the interchange that could be optimized through CDP or level 2, level 3, which is known, downgrades. There are transactions who downgrade to the highest interchange level that could be optimized by gateways like NMI by providing the proper data and educating the merchants with
yeah,
the
we were
proper
talking
information.
earlier about tokenization. So now when you do network tokens, we get the tokens from the card brands. That qualifies as a much lower interchange rate. There's savings there too, and there might be companies out there offering network tokens, but they're not giving the merchant the benefit of the lower interchange fees on those type of transactions. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
The interchange table now has tokenized transaction, which is 5 basis points lower. So right there, without doing anything, processing through NMI gateway, a tokenized transaction, there's a different interchange that saves the merchant more in funds, more funds.
Yeah. So I work in M&A, and we do a lot of analysis on an ISO's residuals or an agent's residuals. So if you were acquiring a portfolio, what are the key metrics that you would look for in that ISO's residuals or the way that they're charging their merchants?
One of the components of a Fee Navigator platform is subtracting from the proposed pricing the Schedule A buy rates that they get from their processors. So each agent or partner negotiate when they enter into agreement with a processor a buy rates and buy revenue share. We load all the data in Fee Navigator in order for the system to calculate the potential residuals. Now, when you look at the portfolio from the M&A perspective, you don't look just at the Schedule A, you look at the, what type of merchants are there, what type of risk is there, and in the end, you look at separating the final cost in those 3 buckets I mentioned earlier. What's interchange, card business assessments, and the rest automatically fall under what we call processor specific because they are not known as interchange or business assessments. It's actually simple. If you understand the basics of this very complex problem is not that complex. Mostly using the AI-powered technology from Fee Navigator by NMI now.
Yeah.
It's I think a game changer because being in this industry as long as I've been in this industry, the hardest thing is learning the interchange and learning how to read statements. Like I was saying, you're going to make it very easy for people to get in this industry now. At NMI, we can now bring on more people because it's easier for them to get into an industry that is complicated and hard to understand because you're giving them the tools to be able to go out and do cost analysis and save the merchant money. And I think that's what's really exciting for us at NMI.
ISV clients, now they can sell payments with the help of Fee Navigator. Banks are coming into payments. Banks traditionally wouldn't want to deal with merchant processing. They will outsource to a processor or to an ISO. More and more banks are selling payment processing in-house because through tools like Fee Navigator, now they can understand how everything works and make educated decisions and proposals to their merchants.
Yeah.
In general, the proposals that are being presented to merchants are confusing and most of the time, not clearly understood by the agent and by the merchant.
And I think this is great, not just for onboarding a merchant, but with, every April and October, there's interchange increase. Almost always something with
Right.
interchange changes, and it affects your merchants. How many times do they call in to be repriced, asking for a rate review? Fantastic tool to use for rate reviews.
One area of a pain for merchant services, the first week of every month, more than half of the customer service calls are due to fees because every merchant statement, merchant account hits their bank account on the second of every month. That week of the month, any processor is receiving phone calls to respond fee questions, mostly after a rate increase in April, October. Fee Navigator hasn't yet provide the service for retention departments, which is a great area to use a tool like this and answer a merchant's concern on the fly, on the same call, instead of being told, call back, we'll get back with you in 72 hours, which is the normal procedure right now.
Yeah.
And in that 72 hours, the merchant is gone.
gone.
Somebody else walks in the
Yeah.
door and it's
Lower
gone. So
rate.
that's an area that I'm hoping to explore and provide the service to companies through NMI family.
That's
Fantastic.
wonderful to know. It's, for us, it's very exciting to have you here and be a part of our company. We see great value. What has your experience been with NMI so far?
I am thrilled and
And congratulations.
thank you so much. I'm excited. Like, I feel I have a backup team and I feel that I'm not alone anymore. We had a meal, like a family dinner a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, my first day here. I'm well received by my team, my colleagues. Everybody is very educated, very smart, like you now, Naomi. I'm excited to be here. There's a lot we can do together. I'm so excited to be here.
We wish you the best with your integration, with working with NMI, and I'm sure their customers and their clients are really excited to have you on board.
Yeah, Steve was here yesterday, and one of the questions we asked him is, how soon can we start selling it at NMI? How soon can our partners start, offering this? And he said right away. So
True.
I'm very excited about that.
We will be offered Fee Navigator standalone right away, but we will complete integration hopefully by the end of the year.
Okay,
Awesome.
great. This is wonderful. I really appreciate you being on our podcast, Girls Want to Have Funds. And it's, I think it's going to be fun being colleagues with you and exploring the growth that you're going to bring to our company.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me on the podcast.
On a note, I'm just going to say one of the things that you do is that you help people make money.
That's what I do. Thank you.
Subscribe and follow Girls Just Want to Have Funds